Michael Chinasa is 20 years old and from Ebonyi State. She was in GSS2 when her mother died. Michael Chinasa was intercepted by the Holistic team in the year 2009.
Well, it's when my mother died, so, in a family that you are much like that, you find help, somebody that will help you in education, and in a place that I even stopped, my father didn't even help me there. It's another people from outside is helping me to study. So when everything are run down, so I don't know what to do. So I take the decision that I cannot be able to stay in village anymore because the sufferness is too much of me. So I now come to Lagos to find way to study more, but I could not find the way. So even my own sister self rejects me then. Anyway, I find myself asleep. I wake up in the morning, I beg money to eat. So before now, I met the girl on the way. So the girl now introduced me in a hotel. So I'm there. I even thought it's a place that I will make it in life. That is to find money to go back to my school. So far I didn't have anybody to rely on or anybody to help me. So I found myself in prostitution. I did prostitution almost a year, and so even as I'm doing it, I'm not happy that I'm doing it. So money, even as I'm doing it, I didn't see any money. Money come, money go, money come, money go.
Wholistic Outreach is an NGO founded in April 2001 with the aim of reaching out to the girls at risk in the society and to also offer social services and promote youth and women development in various communities and states across Nigeria. Duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, Wholistic Outreach is a fact-based organization under the office of the wife of the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Mrs. Folu Adeboye. The objectives of the mission are to show love to young women in crisis situations, to provide help and support, both housing and educational, to victims of sex trafficking, to provide capacity building for individuals and groups working with young people and girls at risk, to create awareness of ills of sexual misconduct amongst youth in various states across Nigeria, especially in high prevalent states, to create awareness in states vulnerable to child labor and child trafficking on the ills of such practices, and to reduce the incidence of sex trafficking and child labor by 85% by the year 2020, to train and counsel young women to effectively handle personal, social, and financial crises, and finally, to reduce anxiety and emotional disturbances caused by the stress of being homeless and help home residents to develop self-esteem, self-reliance, and self-confidence. So far, about 80 girls have passed through the Wholistic Outreach. Chidima Nwafo is 19 years old. She used to be a prostitute and a cultist, but now she enjoys her life at the mission. Chidima was in primary 6 when she started smoking, leaving home 5 years ago. Today, Chidima is very grateful to the mission.
Actually, I was once in prostitution, but I was once initiated with Marine Kingdom and such of things, cultists. So they came to preach for me. I gave my life to Christ. That is how I came here. When I was in the world, in fact, I passed through many things. People don't like me. But now, I'm happy. I can say that people like me now. I don't normally, before, I have urge of smoking. If I don't see smoke like this, I can't stay. But now, without smoke, I can live my life. I started smoking at the age of 12 years old. And now I'm 19 years old. I can say I'm in primary 6 then, when I started smoking, but not Indian. I was smoking cigarettes. Actually, I don't know my parents. I only know my grandmother who brought me up. It's because of, I was thinking about my parents. People was abusing me. Where is your parents? You don't know your parents. If they ask me to pay school fees, there is no money for school fees. That is why I left my grandmother. Actually, I went home for reconciliation the day I came here. But I can't recognize her, but she's blind. Let me say she's blind. I can't recognize her when I see her. Actually, I want to be a doctor. And if there is still opportunity, I'll be an actress from it. I can say people should give your life to Christ. I know that the worldly life is so sweet, but I think this is the best way for us to achieve what we want in life.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. After a typical long day in class, all the daughters of the mission and their children find time to play one game or the other. Mrs. Elizabeth Abosedi, the case manager, examines and interviews the daughters to determine if they are really willing to let go of their past.
For those one we have at hand now, they are not, it's not all of them are not prostitutes, but they are the girls that you meet on the road, wondering about. By the time you get to know more about her, she might end up being an orphan. She might end up being somebody that the parent doesn't want to see anymore, rejection. Like I said earlier, we have prostitutes among them anyway, that they've given their life to Jesus Christ and they want to live a changed life. So those are the girls that we put together. But the ministry is basically open for prostitute, commercial sex workers that are giving their life to Jesus Christ and they want to live a changed life.
It is, however, important for every student to attend adult education classes in order to read and write. Bola Rabiu teaches English and Yoruba at the mission.
My students here, whom we fondly refer to as daughters in the home, they are good to be with, they are nice, and with the way they have been brought into the home through some of the trainings we have given to them, they have good morals to relate with us in the classroom. So they respond very well.
You now use your two palms to rub it together, the butter and the flour together.
As a point of empowering the students, the mission has a standard catering class in which all the students are trained in the arts of catering and baking. There are, however, a lot of challenges that come with this.
Is, because of the background some of them had, we still need to cope how we can relate with some of them.
If not for the grace of God, it's like, what have I done so far in their life? Because you realize that most of the time you find them jumping the fence to go back to their vomit, even though most of the time out of 5 of them, we have 2 that will eventually stay till the end of the program. But those ones that normally go out has been a very big challenge for us.
Often, all the girls come in with pregnancy, and because of this, the mission has successfully set up a creche for their babies. The babies enjoy their lives there, while the mothers are strategically positioned for the future. Pastor Ayo Omije is the home mother, also known as the matron.
In the ministry, I stand as a home mother. The home mother, or you might call maybe the matron or principal of a school. So I make arrangements to see that the girls go to school, for those of them who are in school. And when it is time for vocational classes, like some of the things you have seen today, that they go for their vocational classes in the afternoon. Well, as the government has said that every school-going child should have a vocation, we also are trying to see to it that at least every girl in the home has one vocation or the other.
For her, it is mandatory for every daughter in the home to have a vocation. At least every girl must have one vocation of her own, whether tailoring, in which they are taught the art of fashion designing. Most of the times, all the girls learn how to sew and operate the sewing machine. Also, a lot of spiritual work is done, knowing fully well that the girls would leave one day into the outside world. Over the past years, holistic outreach has recorded tremendous achievements.
When they use toilet roll for toilet, when you want to wipe, no wipe from back to front, wipe from front to back. Because if you wipe from back to front, you go carry the poo-poo. Because when you poo-poo, some germs they inside the poo-poo, where they still remain for your anus. You go come carry, when you clean from back to front, you go carry the jam where for the poo-poo, carry and come for your front. And if you go stay from front, you go enter. So when you want clean, you go clean from front to back.
A lot of times, after the rehabilitation process, the ministry now proceeds to reconcile the estranged families with their children.
If they are willing to leave the job and they prefer to go to their parents, we relocate them back to their families.
The building of a 40-bed space residential home at Loburo or Fada in Ogun State, a 20-bed rented house for emergency shelter, a residential home in Port Harcourt for rehabilitation, the graduation of 62 girls who started and completed the rehabilitation process. The outreach has also provided economic empowerment and equipment grant awards to 25 girls to start businesses of their own after the completion of their rehabilitation program. 4 of their graduated girls in higher institution of learning sponsored by the Holistic Outreach. The outreach has also started a private girls' academy for girls in the program and a crèche for their children. These and many more are the success stories being recorded at the outreach on a daily basis. However, for every outreach, there must be a challenge, and one of the challenges currently being faced by the outreach is in terms of finances. But with the help of sponsors, both individual and corporate organizations, the outreach hopes to make more impact than what it is today.
I believe God that there are times when we are in need of things, like when this our apartment, there's a small bungalow over there, became too small for us. And we're like, oh God, if we increase the number, where would the girls sleep? And we began to pray. Mommy Jew also cried unto the Lord. Suddenly, a company came to put up the ongoing building that you can see for us. So God has used various people at different times when we run into trouble.
Thank God for Pastor Mrs. Fulu Adeboye. Thank God for Holistic Outreach.